Hey guys. Okay, so I still don't have a little thing to hold my phone. It's so bad. Okay. So I have it stuck in a leg weight so that it'll hold it up and that kind of thing. Maybe I'm not ready for this live right now. So I wanted to talk about shielding and cloaking yourself when you're around like dense kind of energy and that kind of thing. You can always shield yourself, and how you're going to do that is you're going to envision you're gonna envision almost like a thing that's around you. Call it a bubble, call it a sphere. Last live I was talking about like how big your aura is. So if you hold your hands out to your sides, it's going to be a little further than that. So if my hand is here, it'll be a little further than that. But when you cloak yourself like that, what you're doing is you're shielding yourself from outside energy, which is also going to protect your aura. So even if you have, say you have fractures in your aura, or you have, some stuff that you're still working with, but you kind of still feel like there's holes in your energy, that's when you shield yourself. That's when you cloak yourself so that you don't pick up outside energies. I don't know who came in here. Hey, Culverhouse. Hey, Donna. So when you cloak yourself, what you're doing is you're shielding your own energy to hold that in, but then you're also shielding the outside energy. Because when you're working on things and you're working on like self-development, and you're taking things that don't serve you like out of your cup, so to speak, you're going to feel like you have holes. You're going to feel like you have, kind of an energetic, the structure is not solid. It's kind of holy, if you will. So I wanted to talk about that, especially during this time, because we are actually in Scorpio season right now, and that's going to release a lot of this is definitely a release moon, but it's going to release a lot of things that don't serve you. So you may feel a little bit empty. Like I have my cup here. As I drink it, my drink goes down, right? So as you heal yourself, the dense shit, the dense trauma that you've acquired over life is going to go down. That's what I'm saying about like feeling like you're empty, because what you're doing is you're removing the things that don't serve you. Well, now you have to fill it with good. So that may be like good affirmations or things that you have to remind yourself, like write yourself notes. I live alone and I write myself notes. I have notes even in my wallet, just to remind me like you're doing good. And also like while you have those notes or anything like that, angels are going to give you numbers and symbols and things throughout like your day to kind of show you like, hey, this is, you're doing good, you're on track, you're aligned, that kind of thing. But then also they can give you, kind of things like, hey, you don't need to do that, or hey, you don't need to be here at that, in this situation or around these people. There's going to be a nudge to your cup, kind of like, now you're in this season, you're being a little bit more intentional with what you put in your cup. Before, you probably would have been like, yeah, it's fine, just fill it up. Yeah, just walk over me. Yeah, I'm a mat. Yeah, just, don't give a shit about me, whatever, right? In this season, no, we give a shit about ourselves in this season. We give a shit about our emotional intelligence and what we bring to the table, right? We're not letting just anybody sit at our table in this season. And if it means you have to remove people and your cup is a little empty, that's fine. What that's also going to do is that's going to allow other things, new beings, human beings. Hopefully they're human and not some sort of angelic or even demons. I mean, shit. The last live that I was talking about, demons can get inside of you, and think about if this is a cup, this is somebody, right? And they have so many little demonic, like attachments and demonic things that are going in with them. Maybe a Jezebel spirit, maybe a spirit of lying. God said, I did not give you a spirit of fear. So that particular spirit is going to infiltrate you over time to where it's just anything you say are lies. And then you may go back and go, damn, why did I say that? That's a spirit that's literally coming inside of you and you just speak. As we remove this, our cup is going to feel a little bit, a little less dense. And you may start to feel the outside spirits that are coming in, and you can rebuke them. And like I said earlier, you can cloak them, get them out of there. Don't even let them see you. Like they can't infiltrate your aura at this point. Not happening. You know, like you can see, you have the vision now. You've removed your rose-colored glasses, and you can see people now. You can see into their auric field too. You know, that's why like a lot of you guys are healers, and a lot of you guys can see into certain people, and then all of a sudden you want to fix them and you want to heal them, and you're like, oh, let's build a bear. No, we're not doing that in this season. Everybody that's going to sit at your table has to come correct. You know, and that's correct to you. You know, to your boundaries, to what you want in your life, to your creation and manifestation in this time. Because again, we are in the Scorpio moon, and she's pretty intense. She's pretty intense. Now, I fall on the cusp of Libra and Scorpio. So some people say my birthday is in Libra. Some people say it's in Scorpio. So I'm kind of like I'm on the fence with that. But my moon is in Libra, so I resonate more with a Libronic kind of energy. So I don't know. I like balance. I like peace. I like alignment. I like steady waters. Don't ruffle the waters. Don't become a character in my book, and then I'm gonna have to talk about you on Facebook. You'll end up in the book on Amazon Prime. You know, but this season is a release. Yeah, upside down death. Scorpio energy. So this is an inability to move forward. You know, there's a fear of new beginnings, and I understand that. Again, go back to this. If this is you, and you're removing the things that don't serve you anymore, maybe you're trying to quit drinking, maybe you're trying to quit, you know, certain addictions, or vaping, or smoking, or whatever your hang up is, you're trying to, you know, fix it. You're gonna have to remove it from your cup. If this is your life, you're removing stuff from your cup. There's gonna be almost like, and at this death, you're gonna have to mourn those things. That's the past version of you. That's not you in this season. You know, you don't want that toxic stuff. You can see it now. Now you have the choice and free will to take action in that and go, do I want to be a part of that? If you don't, then remove yourself, cloak yourself. You know, negative patterns, repeating negative patterns. So again, if you're trying to go back and you're going, okay, look, I need to work on myself. You know, this is my cup. This is who I am. This is what I have to offer. I do have a couple of attachments and things that I need to get rid of. So I need to start to work on that, whether it be journaling, whether it be, you know, crying out to God, even things in the car. You know, turn your radio down and just listen to the outside world, but then also listen to your inside world too, because most of the time your inside world is screaming at you to fix these things, you know. So if there is a resistance to change, or even a dependency to that old version of yourself, you need to have a conversation with yourself. You need to have that, like, you know what? Things aren't working out for me. I feel like there's a little cloud over my head. I feel like I have a lot of ancestral kind of curses and energies that are not mine, that I don't want to have anymore. What do I do with that? You're going to have to surrender it to God. You've got to get rid of it. It has to be out of your vessel. Has to be out. So how do we do that? We talk to God. And when I say God, I'm not talking about a little man that sits up in the ethers. That's not what that is. He's a consciousness. He's even Jesus scoffed and said, didn't I say you guys were gods? He said that. I'm not saying that. You can flip off of me or what. I didn't say that. Jesus did. He said it to the Jews. So if Jesus is a consciousness, and I can align myself with that consciousness, at some point there's going to have to be a death of my old version of me. Do you follow that? So there has to be a surrender of energy. Like, okay, I get it. I hear you. I heard the calling. I see the things that are around me. I'm starting to see the people that are around me too. So at this point, I need to change a few things, whether it be my thinking, whether it be my heart. I ask God almost daily, purify my heart. Purify my heart. Because if my heart is purified, my thoughts will be purified. Sorry, I got over a cold like 2 weeks ago, and I still feel like I sound like a frog. But it's a dependency to your old self. That's comfortable. You're comfortable with all this. All your goodness and all your fuckery. You're okay with that. Well, we have to remove the toxicity. We got to get rid of this part. And getting rid of that part, again, it's going to make you feel lonely. It's going to make you feel like, well, shit, I'm so used to that. And that's normally my friend group, or that's normally my family group, or that kind of thing. And if I do this, I know that there's going to be collateral damage to that. You know, if you start to change your verbiage and you start to change even like your boundaries, like you're not talking to me that way anymore. You know, when you start to stand up, of course, now that person's going to scoff like, what? I've been walking over you for however many years. What, you're going to put up your boundary now? You know, so it's going to cause a friction within that family, or even your friend group or coworkers or whatever. There's going to be a friction to that. Again, God is removing you from that. He's removing you from the toxicities. While you go through this, you start to do the work and God will pick up the rest. He's going to show you the things that you don't want to fucking see anymore. But you have to deal with it because it's in this cup. You know, you can't just keep like pushing it under the rug and just going, no, you know, I don't want to look at it. It's just in the past. Yeah, I get that. I totally get that. You don't want to look at that. But the thing is that you have to, because you have to sort it out. It's almost like when you do tie-dye. You know, now you have this shirt, and now you have bleach and your colors and all the things. There's a process that you have to do to remove these toxins from you. You know, and then you have to let it sit out in the sun. And if you want to visualize that, that's just surrendering to God. Okay, however you mold me, however you maneuver or even like create my new reality, because I'm the creator of my reality. So if I am that, then why would I keep these toxic people? It doesn't make sense to me anymore. At one time, it used to make sense to me. Hey guys, I don't know who's coming in. Hey, Lindsay. You know, at one time it did make sense because I was like, well, they're my coworkers. They're family. You know, oh, these are my friends. I've been friends with them for, you know, since childhood. Okay, well, at this point, you're outgrowing them. You know, they can't go where you're going. They can't be where you're at. Because you've done the self-development, because you've done the work on yourself. And I know I labeled this as like, what's your person thinking? But I almost feel like it's like, you're at this tipping, you're right there. You know, when you finally tip over and you jump off the cliff and you just let God to maneuver you how he needs you. You know, there's a lot of times that I wake up in the morning and I can almost hear like, okay, you need to say this to this person. Or you need to be overly complimentary today. People need to hear that. Okay, God. You know, oh, you look good. Oh, I don't know who I'm supposed to speak to. But God said to overly do something. So that's what I need to do. And when you can take the fuckery out and start to look at like, okay, well, I need to do this. Or, you start to hear the things that God wants you to hear. You're able to do that then. You're able to be that service to a higher deity. He's a higher deity. It's the Most High. You know, I like to talk about there's a lot more gods than just the one. There is one, the Most High, but there are other gods too. You know, so even whenever God was sitting up there and was like, hey, what do you think that we should make? He was talking to the other gods, you know? And then here we are, we're the same thing. We have the same divinity. Are we the Most High? Absolutely not. Page of Pentacles, communication. There's a lack of communication somewhere. Bad news, earthly matters, lack of goals, lack of common sense. So you may notice as you have your rose-colored glasses off, like the people around you may have them on. You know, they're not seeing what you're seeing. God said not everyone will see. So at that point, you can't force it. You can't make them see what you're seeing. You've done the work. You've been down the rabbit holes. Just like whenever I talk about like my crazy conspiracy theories, and some of you guys are like, what the fuck, Lee? I get it. But you didn't do the work. I did the work. You know, same with self-development. If you did the work, if there's a family dynamics and you've been doing the work over years at a time, and then now all of a sudden, like you're like, damn, I kind of feel unequally yoked to these people now because I can see stuff. I can interpret that. I can feel that. These people aren't going to understand. They're not going to go where you're going. You know, there's a higher realm. You know, I like to talk about The world's splitting. It does. There's a consciousness and an unconsciousness. It's awake or asleep. That's just what that is. So where do you fall? Are you awake? Can you see the things around you? Do you understand that there's AI? Aliens? Do you understand that? That there's also that? There's a higher that? That's a whole thing. And it's in your Bible. But I don't know if you get into this, again, it's an inability to move forward where you're so indoctrinated and that you can't open your mind. Open your mind to other things. It doesn't mean you have to totally believe in it, but now you have at least learned it. You've at least educated yourself on something that you know. Like even whenever I started in demonology, I was like, ooh, I've heard a lot about like, you shouldn't even, don't fuck with it, But then I started thinking, well, but if I'm not supposed to fuck with it, how do I know how to combat it? It's like being in the military. If you don't train me, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't know what to look for. I don't know how to see the enemy like that. You gotta show me. You gotta teach me. So I started looking into demonology, and now it's easier to see. I can see even in humans, the attachments. And that's because I've educated myself on demonology. What is it? What's the energy? Where's it come from? Where's it resonate? How does it infiltrate? Where does it go once it infiltrates? What's it do? Does it just hang out in the body? Or does it come in periodically, like throughout the day? Like if you have an addiction to, like, for me, it's vaping. I love vaping. I don't think about my vape all day, but it does pop into my mind. What do you think pops that into my mind? Oh, girl, you need to vape. You need to go hit that. Go vape. Just like with alcohol, sex addictions, anything like that. It's a temporary high, so to speak. That's not from God. Those are God wants my temple to be clean and pure and all the things, white as snow. Well, me vaping, it's making these lungs black. So what do? It's kind of like, I know I shouldn't say this. I just heard my guide kind of go like, but it's almost like you have to think, okay. So I think that if you do stuff like that, it's almost like you're going, okay, well, I know I'm going to have black lungs, but we all die of something, right? That kind of like excuse, so to speak. But you do have lack of communication that's coming in. So surrender. This whole thing turned into like you need to surrender. Everything's upside down, y'all. And it's anxiety. Look, when you get out of the indoctrination, get out of the indoctrination. Think about this. The things that your parents or the preacher or whoever, wherever you were taught something, they may have taught you something in an unhealed version of themselves, or they may have taught you because that's how they were taught. Not saying they did it vindictively. I don't know if that's a word. I'm not saying that, but that's what they've been taught. So that's what they relayed to you. Now those times to go back through this is to say, okay, what do I need to unlearn? I just heard the word racism. Unlearn that. Once we realize that we're all one and we're all one in the collective. Hey, Jerry. Once we realize that we're all one collective, it's different. You don't see the person you don't see the person's color, their education, what they're wearing, the amount of money they have. It doesn't, in the big, huge scheme of things, it doesn't matter. What we're here for is to lift the frequency of the earth so it's not hell. What's hell? 3D, dense, demonic shit. If we can get out of that and raise the vibration within our heart center, our heart chakra, then we become more pure. We're pure light. That's what we need to be. That's what Jesus, when he has the light around his head, every time you see his ass, he's got a light around his head. He's enlightened. Again, you guys, sorry I sound like a man. I've been coughing. Like 2 weeks ago, I got sick, and now it's just this stupid, gnarly cough that I have. But as you remove all of this stuff, it's going to become less stress, less anxiety. I noticed that whenever I got myself out of my marriage, I had less anxiety. So much less anxiety. I wasn't walking on eggshells. I wasn't having to perform for somebody. I wasn't having to make sure things were just right so that I didn't get punished in some sort of way. That's kind of what life is doing to you. Within your job, within your family dynamics, you're walking on eggshells so that you don't, like, get the waters ruffling, getting, doing things like that. You don't want to because you don't want to make waves. I get that. But some of you guys are truth seekers and truth tellers and whistleblowers. I'm totally a whistleblower. Don't fuck with me. Your shit will end up on Facebook. It's like, we all have accountability. We all have free will. So if you have to have this communication with yourself to become more enlightened, to become more in tuned with yourself, it's like a guitar. It's like tuning a guitar. There's a pitch that has to happen. And if you're not and you strum it, it sounds off. So when you're going through your life and you kind of start to feel like you're off, it's because you're not aligned. You're not aligned in that consciousness. You're not aligned in, truth. Trust me, I was living 12 years in a lie that I was trying so hard to make it not a lie anymore. And then I started to have to realize, like, no, this is your reality, Lee. This is it. This is the person that you're married to. This is what your marriage is going to be. Okay, so let me educate myself on narcissism. And I don't want to go real far into that because I feel like that's all I talk about is ghosts and narcissism, spirituality, and assholes. I need a cup. I'm going to clarify these because the first one that popped out, you guys that are jumping on, was death, which is totally Scorpio energy, but it's your death of ego. It's literally your death of the old consciousness or the old construct of what you were, because you're not that anymore. Yes, not the car reflection on the wall either. I flew behind her head. I don't know. I don't know if there's a little chat going on and I missed some of that. I'm sorry, y'all. But there's a difference. And when you start to let go of those things, those egotistical things, the things that like material, I love getting around people that are like, oh, I got this and I got this and I got that. Ooh, I got this. Yeah, there's strife, conflict, fighting. This is your person. Your person is not going to go where you're going. If you've already started the self-development, there's an initiation that you passed. God knows that. Your inners know that. Because you buckled down, you focused, and you were like, no, I'm going to do this. You know how you see those memes disappear for 6 months and then come back totally different? Those 6 months are going to strip you from your egotistical ways, from the things that don't serve you, from those toxic people. That's what that time is. Now you're working with your mind. Then go to your heart center. I know that I'm supposed to love these people. I get that. That's a higher frequency, but I don't have to give them my energy. There doesn't have to be that. That's their energy. So it's going to, again, like I said earlier, it's going to split the worlds. You're going to be on a higher consciousness. There's going to be a higher divinity to you, a more of an understanding, a knowing. It's claircognizant. All of us have these abilities. Every single one of us. I mean, I don't know. I feel like everybody does, but if you are a cup that is just so toxic and you have done everything in your power to destroy the people around you, I feel like either you don't have a soul or Satan has just infiltrated your life so much to make you feel so bad and so insecure that that's the only way that you can feel better is to hurt someone else. And I think that's a sad existence, but there are people like that. Some people say, oh, well, it's a mental disorder. I feel like, yes, it could be, but I also feel like it's a choice. They know what they're doing. Because if they didn't, they wouldn't go back for the high the next time they did it. Oof. you know, but there's a conflict. And as these people start to see you ascend and start to move up and that kind of stuff, up the energy, you know, it's energy for me. That's what I'm trying to preach. These people are trying. Again, not everybody's going to see. Some people do the bare minimum and think that that's it. Like, it's okay. Like if it's a scale of 1 to 10, I'm only going to go to a 6 because people don't deserve me at a 10. No, that's not true. People do deserve you at a 10, or for that other person that's going, I'm only going to be a 6. You know, I've been hurt so bad that they don't deserve me being nice to them. Well, that's not true, and that's not very godly, so you're not aligned. There's a lot of conflict in this second row. This is them. It says improvement in finances, luck, end of hardship, positive change. They've got to do their own work. It's a poverty card. And when you live in poverty, what is that? That's lack. You're living in a lack mentality. So again, hold on, let me go to, here's my cup. I've been using my cup as an example. So here's my cup. If I start to remove all these, and I start to feel like I'm alone or I don't have, or that kind of thing, because at this point, this is my love, this is my fuckery, this is what I have to try to remove. Generational curses, I don't care, whatever it is. You're going to feel like you're isolated. You're going to feel like you're empty. Okay? That's lack. So try not to stay in that energy too long, because it is a very lack mentality. Like, oh, well, I don't want to remove these people because then I won't have anybody. Or I don't want to remove myself from this workplace because I don't have another job lined up. That's lack. If God wants you out of that workplace, he's going to just do it. You're not going to have a choice. You may get fired and then you're pissed off. No. That's a good thing. God's moving you. Allow him to move you. If God wants you in Sonona, there's going to be things that are popping up across your page. Sonona. People are going to talk about it. If you're on like TikTok and you're scrolling through, Sonona. You know, he's going to show you those things to try to communicate with you and your higher self. But you got to let him do it. So you may have to live in lack a little bit. You're not living in a lack. You're just a little, you're not full. You're just not full yet. But you will be, because you call in those things. Call in your tribe. Call in the people that you want around you. I want this person in my life. I don't want these 3D, very egotistical, low standard kind of people in my life anymore. I don't want that. I don't want to build a bear. This person needs to come correct. Last one, and I'll let you guys go. It's 3:20. I'm supposed to meet a friend for dinner and some shopping, so that's exciting. Yeah, isolation. So you may have to go into isolation. I'm surprised we didn't get the Hermit card. But the isolation is feeling trapped. It's feeling restricted, victimized, paralyzed. These people that don't serve you, or the person that is seems to make you walk on eggshells or feel little, they're doing that on purpose. They see that you have a greater purpose. Think about it. If I'm a human and you're a human, I'm supposed to be walking in love and light, right? But you are infiltrated with so many demons, and those demons, what do? They're going to try to snuff out my light. That's why people come at you. Why do you think they do that? For the fuck of it? Sometimes people just don't even like you just because of your light. They don't know anything about you. They don't know your name, your heritage, where you came from, nothing. They know nothing. But they'll hate the hell out of you. What do you think that is? Haven't you ever been somewhere and you're like, damn, the person just, I don't know the person, but they make me feel really weird. How do they make you feel? You're picking up on their energy, right? But you're not going to lash out at them. You're just, you know what? Note that. Let's note that. Where on the flip side, if you're, I don't want to say you, but if the person has a lot of demonic kind of characteristics and a lot of attachments, literally attached to them, how are they going to communicate with me? Through hate. That's a huge indication right off the rip when you meet somebody where they're at in their storyline, what they're working with. Are you working with love and light? and lifting humanity as a collective, or are you working on knocking me down? You know, so keep that in mind when you come across that. It's all energy. Every time I go live, that's what energy, like really put that thought in your head and really think about what energy is. Energy is spirit, right? And they talk about alcohol and stuff like that. That's spirits. Every time you drink, it's allowing the spirit to come in easy, very easy, because you're not guarded. You know, you're out here just having a good time and drinking and that kind of stuff, but those demonic energies can come in. You know, so you guys keep that in mind as you're moving through the day. I love you, and I will catch you guys on the flip side.